Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Anyone new to the channel, I'm Papergoy. I have a day job. I've got a little over 40,000 items between eBay and Amazon. Unfortunately, that's not going down as fast as I'd like during the Christmas season. Try to juggle all that along with the family, and it's a bit of a challenge. And you are?
I'm Mr. Magazine with a big warehouse, looking for another one, and 600,000 items listed and about a dozen employees.
Nice.
Thanks.
So today we're going to kind of wing this. So
right.
basically, whether this is a epic fail or a tremendous success is all on your shoulders. But don't worry about it. No pressure whatsoever.
No.
So basically, I'm going to set out a scenario for you. Anybody new to the channel, this would be what you would call a rambling story of the day. We do that on our live show right near the end. Live shows are every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A lot of fun. So I went to a sale yesterday, and it was an estate sale, and started walking around, and they had a lot of books, and they had books on the first floor, books in the living room, books in a spare bedroom. And as I was there, I heard another gentleman talking to his wife and said, there's books upstairs and books down in the basement. You can avoid the ones in the basement because they're all German. Okay, so that's your backstory.
Yeah.
So as I was going around, I noticed a guy, and he had his phone, and he was trying to be really, really cool. Now, a lot of people scan,
Right.
but he had the phone like this, and he would say, 1927 Indians in America. And then he would look down, and something or other would come up on it. And he was slightly ahead of me. He probably got to the sale about 2 minutes before I did. So he was slightly ahead of me. So there was a bookshelf in the dining room that I went to, and then he went there as well, and he's starting to look through things and trying to do his little secret whisper kind of thing into there. So I'm looking and he's looking, and what would you do in that case, I guess, would be my question to you. Now, he's obviously researching things. Now,
Right.
I was trying to figure out what he was researching because there wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason to it. But what
Yeah.
would you do in that case?
Well, I have to assume he doesn't have the knowledge you have, so then I would not be worried about following his leftovers. But seeing that you always talk about being the foreign book guy, I would have gone downstairs and tackled that first.
I sprinted upstairs because he went into this other bed. He went into the bedroom, and I saw he was in there. So I said, look, I'm going to jump ahead of him.
Yeah.
Why not? And I went upstairs, and there were American books upstairs. Like I found one. And then I went into the basement and saved the room that he was in till the end.
Okay.
Part of the reason why is, and again, I don't know this gentleman from Adam. Forgive the rain just started over here. Unfortunately, that's one of the problems with having a set filming date. So I went into the basement. Now, I don't know this gentleman. For all I know, he could be a German scholar. But I was trying to imagine him trying to talk into the phone with the German books.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
And seeing what comes up.
That'd be
So I
funny.
figured he was no competition at all in the German books.
Right.
And that let him go through the American books. What I did do, though, is I did walk into the room with the American books, even though he was there,
Right.
and did a fast scan over his shoulder just to see what kinds of books they were.
Yeah.
In other words, if they're all really good, potentially 1800s books,
Right.
maybe I would have followed behind him or tried to find a little way to, move
Yeah.
in off to the side without interfering with what he's looking at and look ahead.
Right.
But they all look to be more modern books. I said, let him stand there and talk into his phone till his heart's content.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead of him at this point.
Right.
And then I went into the basement. But you want to hear the kicker? I went into the room that he had been in.
Right.
And I went through it, and I didn't see anything particularly good, except I saw one book that caught my eye from the 1960s that I've never seen before. So I said, oh, what the heck, it's $2 for a book. Let me take a chance on it.
Right.
Ended up buying it. It's a $40 book on Amazon.
Nice.
So for him doing all of that, he missed a $40 book,
Yeah.
potentially out of that as well. So you kind of had the same thoughts I did. And I know we've talked about this in the past as well. Know your competition, and what you said about his skill level was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He's looking up a lot of books. Well, what is a disadvantage? What is the advantage of looking up a lot of books?
Well, of looking up a lot of them, well, you're going to find diamonds in the rough. Then, if you're there's a shelf of 300 books and you look through all 300, you're going to find some, but it's going to take a long time. In that time period, he's looking up those 300 books. You can go through the whole house probably.
Yep, exactly. So the advantage is he's going to find some book that I'm not going to know about,
Right.
and he's going to do well on it.
Yeah.
The disadvantage is obviously I'm not going, not that he was looking up 300 books, but I'm not
Yeah.
patiently going to stand behind
No.
him saying, oh, I'll wait for this gentleman to get done,
Yeah.
and then I'll let him move on to the next bookshelf, and then the next book. No, obviously
Right.
not.
No.
I jumped the line in front of him.
Yeah.
Not the line. I mean, it's an open house. You can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
But I went to rooms he hadn't been in just because
Yeah.
why follow right behind him and take his scraps?
Well, and you can look at the shelf of your knowledge, years of knowledge, and say like, hey, out of these 300, these are the 10 or 20 that I think could be good, and then you'll buy them, or then or you could look up a couple if you want,
Right, yeah, so
narrow it down quicker than he could.
So basically, I can cherry pick
Right.
what I know is good
Yeah.
and leave him. And will I miss stuff? Yes, I most certainly will. There's no doubt at all. There's no doubt at all that I missed some books there that were good. I don't have any doubt at all about it. However, well, I was on my lunch break from work, so I didn't have the luxury from my day job. So I didn't have the luxury to stand there and look everything up. So I just had to make quick decisions as well.
Right. Sure.
And that's one of the things that I know we've mentioned it before, but hopefully that helps you if you're at a sale. Look at your competition and see what they're doing and try to figure out their knowledge. I mean, there are people that we know locally that we know what their expertise is.
Sure.
And if you see them at a sale, you may back away from certain things.
Right.
There are people that we know that are very, very, not that you deal in postcards, but they're very, very good in postcards.
Yeah.
If a lot of 50 postcards comes up and the lot's going for $20 and they're not bidding,
There's a good reason for that.
that's why I would try to, in that instance, for example, I would try to talk to them beforehand. Hey, what are you doing? You into buying stuff? Because perhaps the reason they're not buying them is they're all $5 postcards.
Right.
So it's $250 worth of postcards. If you can pick it up for $20, you're not doing bad. They don't want to be bogged down with it. But if you're looking at it going, this could be kind of good, and they're not buying it at $20, well, this gentleman that I'm thinking of has been doing postcards for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
He knows a good postcard. So if there's a $200 postcard in there, he's bidding $20 on it. So if he's not, there's a reason for it. Let the other people buy it. Let somebody else get it, because you're probably just buying work.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure.
And same thing like we've talked in the past where you're at a sale and you've got the book scanners.
Yeah.
Don't bother going for books that have ISB or the UPCs on the back, because they're the ISBNs, because they're going to have already checked them unless they're the common books, in which case you can pick out a Da Vinci Code first or something like that, because they're not bothering to scan those because they're penny books.
Yeah.
So know your competition, watch what they're doing, and then work around them.
Well, and I don't think these people with the scanners value their time, because I get guys that come in my shop for comics, and they'll look for hours and hours and hours and buy like 2 comics, and I'm sure, okay, maybe they're getting a $10 comic for $2, but they're not getting a $50 or $100 one. So you wasted 3 hours, and you're going to make $10 off the 2 comics. Big deal.
I mean, I guess the only way that I could see that would be if you're retired and you really enjoy it, or maybe you collect for yourself and you found a couple of books for yourself that you want, and now you want to pay for it, so those are essentially free to you.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, it's not a money-making thing time-wise 99% of the time on something or other like that.
Yeah.
And I probably would go through your comics very quickly and maybe pick out 2 or 3 that I know I could sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
2 or 3 that I have questions about that I'll then check.
Right.
But then again, if they're dollar books, I'm not going to lose money buying it for $1.
Right.
I'm not going to do so.
Exactly.
So you just do the quick run through. You pick out the ones that you think might be good and you buy them.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps you some. I think you did very well for not having any idea what the topic is. Do apologize for the rain over here. Not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. Do hit the like button if you could. Comment down below on strategies that you used, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.